What an epic F1 Grand Prix at Bahrain.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I was like,
Bahrain.
I missed the first quarter of it trying to find a spot to watch it. This sport is growing faster than places can keep up with, man. I found like the watch group here in town in the Charlotte area and tried to go out to the bar this morning that was hosting the event. And it was busier than bars are on football Sundays. I'm not kidding. Like,
Really?
Yeah. I was there for, I don't know, less than 10 minutes before I made the executive decision to go somewhere that I actually stood a chance of getting a drink and getting a bite to eat for breakfast. You know, I was looking for a breakfast burrito and a mimosa. Yeah, exactly. I was looking for a breakfast burrito and a mimosa and was like, it's not going to happen here before the end of the race. So I cut my losses and went to another place closer to home and had a great time watching. But yeah, point is, this sport is growing faster than I realized, especially in terms of popularity.
That bar was cashing in on F1.
Yeah. No, like seriously, it was more than shoulder to shoulder. Like I opened the door and like had to immediately kind of like shimmy over against the wall to like not be just in the doorway. It was crazy.
Meanwhile, I called somebody and it felt like I had confused them when I asked if they were going to be airing the F1 race. In their defense, I did call a brewery that I'm not even sure I've actually ever seen cable on there before. I think they just have special events they like stream onto a television or something. So
Right.
probably going to look somewhere else. But given the fact that Roanoke isn't really known for its Sunday bar scene, mix that with the fact that F1, small town, yeah. Maybe I'll have to start I know a bar. Maybe we can start having our own watch parties.
There you go. That's right.
We're going to be talking about how Ferrari broke my heart and also helped to win a little bit of money.
Very nice.
When we watch Bahrain, we're going to talk about how it's another race of just, if you start in first, you finish in first. Like people just, you start in pole, you win in pole. So starting in pole, winning the race. Yeah.
Never really fell behind. So,
I mean, the safety car was the only thing that made it interesting.
yeah, that kind of flattened things out a little bit there. Those almost like right in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
No.
It was the latest a safety car has ever hit at Bahrain.
Really? I didn't know that. It definitely allowed Leclerc and Hamilton and Lando to creep a little bit closer to Piastri, but they were never able to really close that gap all the way.
And what's really interesting is the fact that Piastri was told last season that they were going to make Lando the number one driver. And here he comes. He's like, well, doesn't mean I'm going to stop. And he pretty much said as much when he was asked by Drive to Survive.
Oh, yeah? I still haven't seen it.
He pretty much said the same thing. He's like, I'm the number one driver as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm definitely paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quote. But we're going to talk about the rest of F1 after we do our intro, a little housekeeping. We're going to get into Daredevil Born Again, the penultimate episode. I saw a review from IGN that said it was the best of the season. I'm going to ask Sean if he agrees that was the best the show has been this season or not. And then we're going to talk about some NFL referees actually being reassigned. According to one source, it's been years and years since that's happened. Could this be a sign that things are changing after a season where so many favorites won, so chalky? And we might even get into a little NBA as the Eastern Conference is completely set for the playoffs, but the Western Conference is below the 1 and 2 seed. It's fluid at best. At best, that's how I would describe it. Go Nuggets!
Welcome to Wit and Grit, your go-to for stats, chats, and everything in between. The Wit and Grit Podcast.
This podcast discusses sports betting and is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. In Virginia or North Carolina, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org for free confidential support. Nationwide, 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, located in a state where gambling is legal. Please wager responsibly. Yeah, so I tried to get into the F1 betting a little bit, and just to give you a brief overview of what I learned, you used to only get points if you were in the top 6.
Okay.
So that's why top 6 is still a thing. And as far as like last year's Constructors' Cup, Williams was talking about how much money they would get if they could finish 6. Like some of these.
What's the Constructors' Cup?
That's a great question. So the Constructors' Cup is where the team finishes. So right now, McLaren is doing very good.
Okay.
Right. Red Bull has taken the Constructors. McLaren took it last year. Will they take it again? I don't know.
Okay.
They're looking strong, obviously. And that's where the point system comes in, right, a little bit for both.
Sure.
So there's a Drivers' Championship and a Constructors. And while you want to win the Drivers' Championship, just bringing home the Constructors is enough to, there's a lot of money in it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I was looking at the markets and I was thinking picking the winner seems kind of hard, especially since this year it's been if you start at pole, you win the race. Vegas, believe it or not, they know that too.
Right. I mean, that's literally 100% right now, isn't it? This season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar's odds, honestly, were minus 300 to win before the race.
Right.
He was minus 1,000 to podium at one book. Minus 1,000.
Yeah. And I mean, he never dropped out of first.
At that point, you're just risking too much money because, there's always a chance a crash could happen in a motorsport.
Yep, exactly.
If I'm going to be battling that type of variance, I want something with some plus money. So I took a couple of swings, and there was some late heartbreak in the race that really screwed me. Ugh.
That Verstappen creeping in there, bumping out Gasly.
Yes, I had Gasly top 6, and he was top 6. Others have finished the race.
I mean,
and then Verstappen passes him just at the last second.
Yeah, quite literally.
And as I told him, Verstappen to finish top 6 pre-race, even though he started 7th, was minus 600. So again, no, I didn't bet that. I mean, because if I had, what would I even be bragging about?
Right. Not enough juice for the squeeze.
No, not enough juice at all. Be like,
yeah. So Oscar never really let up. Had first place the whole time, but there was a really fun battle for most of the race between Lando and Hamilton. For that, it was for 4th and 5th, and then it kind of ended up being for 3rd and 4th. That was an exciting match to watch.
Well, and what's interesting about that is too, it's Hamilton's best finish for Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't podium. So
yeah,
it's been a tough start there. But he did finish top 6. That was the bet I made that cashed. So we were talking about the difference between drivers and teams.
Right.
Yes, for both Ferrari cars to finish in the top 6, that cashed. But Leclerc getting passed by Lando was the worst. That was one. I had more money on that one than the one I won. So I would have enjoyed that a lot more. And he had it most of the time. I guess I can't underestimate Lando going forward with that McLaren, but looking at track history and everything like that, since Lando finally won a race, last year, got his first Grand Prix win, I think that it's a more interesting environment now. And trying to weigh history for him it doesn't weigh the same anymore.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
To use an NFL analogy, Sam Darnold. We can't look at Sam Darnold's history anymore. We kind of got to measure maybe like his worst season before and the last season he had, and maybe average those two out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or cut out the worst and the best and go from there, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I see what you mean. I see the analogy you're trying to make.
So I had a couple Verstappen bets. It just wasn't in the cards for him. He had 2 really good showings at Bahrain, 23 and 24, won both of those. Obviously, testing fate if you do it too many times. But I did sprinkle a little bit on him to win outright because it was plus 2,500.
Yeah, I did too. Very little bit, but figured why not.
Overall, I'm hoping my NBA bets will come back and cover. I mean, I didn't put a lot. Gamble responsibly. We really mean that. I just took a few dollars here and there, really just to try it out and see if I can get my hands on it. Until I really know what I'm doing, I'm not going to be giving out picks to you guys because I'm not going to give you a pick unless I'm really confident in it.
Mm-hmm. It's been fun to watch the couple races that I've really locked in for so far too. It's just a fun sport with or without the betting angle. So learning it, to figure out how to properly bet it is also, fun. Like I said, just watching Lando kind of creep up was against Hamilton, and then kind of turning his sights onto LeBlanc there at the end was also really cool. Leclerc was really cool. So it's just a really fun sport to watch,
Leclerc. It's actually Leclerc.
It's not Leclerc. Okay, thank you. See, learning every day.
That French.
Is that right? Okay, that makes sense.
Let's talk about Mercedes. George Russell was just hanging out, doing really well. If you forget that Oscar's on the track, he was doing great. If you forgot about that.
Yep, and we've talked a lot about, Lando, Leclerc, Hamilton, Max, and haven't even mentioned him yet. And meanwhile, he just had a second place finish. No big deal.
I mean, this is the headline. Mercedes consistency continues. I think that tells you all you need to know. They're consistent.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Antonelli. I mean, he had a pretty good showing for being, 18 years old?
Right. No doubt. And then something I noticed at the end of the race was that Russell, who we just mentioned, he was using soft tires, but outside of him, I don't think anyone else in the top 10 was using soft tires.
And the announcers were talking about that. They were talking about how they didn't know why everyone else wasn't in on the soft tires thing.
Seems interesting though, because I didn't have announcer audio at the bar I was at. They were playing it's started out with kind of sad breakup music, which was kind of weird, but then I think someone must have said something because it turned into a little more upbeat alt rock pop sort of stuff. Anyway, that's not important.
The bar owners bet didn't hit, so they had sad music playing for a little bit, and then he got back to the race, had to get back.
Yeah. But I lost my train of thought. But I didn't have the announcer audio, so I couldn't hear them talking about the tires. It's just something I noticed there at the end. But I mean, if only one of the top 10 had it, then maybe it makes sense that more weren't using them. It seemed like hard and medium were kind of, well represented through the top 10.
It was interesting to see the different teams that had problems.
Yeah. What kind of problems were there going? Because you did have the team audio and the announcer audio. So what kind of insight was added there?
Well, Red Bull was having issues with Verstappen and Yuki. They were having problems with their lights at the pit box. Yeah, they had to bring out another guy holding some lights.
Wow.
So that was an
issue.
Is that
I'm guessing so that the drivers know oh, that's my crew right there.
Well, just every millisecond counts when you're in the pit stop because they're trying to get it done in record time. So any extra change of anything could throw everything off.
Yeah.
The DRS issues were the big thing they were talking about. They were talking about if George Russell was going to get knocked out for accidentally turning on his DRS when he wasn't supposed to be using it at all.
I know what DRS is, but if someone else doesn't.
Drag reduction system.
Right, of course.
So they told him on the radio, and they played it on the announcers. They played it, and it said, George, you're having trouble with your DRS system. Keep it turned off till we tell you. Okay. So he wasn't supposed to have it at all. And then in a part of the track where you're not supposed to turn it on, he flipped that bad boy on.
Okay, so there are parts of the track where certain things are disallowed.
Exactly. You got to know the rules.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and double check the finishing order and make sure he didn't get docked enough points, but I'm pretty sure he took second.
Google still has George Russell a second.
Okay. The other big story, which I was following because I had Leclerc to finish in the top 3, I had him to podium, and he was there pretty much the whole race. I kind of hoped when they said George Russell had issues, I was like, ooh, maybe his car will have to retire.
Leclerc was there the whole race. It was really the last 3 or 4 laps were pretty crazy.
So Ferrari misses out on the podium because Lando takes over Leclerc after some salty language was shared on the team radio.
Is that right?
He said Leclerc should have let him pass, but he knew he was on the wrong side. And the announcers, before they ever played the Lando audio, were saying we didn't see anything wrong with that, but the angle for the driver's car is a bit different.
Well, who's going to let him pass? I mean,
I just think there's certain rules when it comes to, like, if you get your tire to the right spot on the other car, like sportsmanship, like you know, don't wreck all the cars.
Okay.
But because he said something about being on the wrong side, they didn't really elaborate.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah, because I mean, we were texting a little bit, and like I was like, he is not letting Lando get through there. Like Lando wants it so bad. And again, I didn't have the audio, and I think you told me like, yeah, Lando's not happy about it.
Yeah, he seemed to in the moment be kind of mad about it, but then he got past him. I
Yeah.
mean, McLaren got what, 2 of the 3 on the podium?
Believe so. Let me double check
Yeah.
that. Yes,
No,
that's
they
correct.
definitely did. Yeah,
First and third. Yep.
So for the constructors, that's huge. And
Yeah.
just so you know, like from a gambling perspective, just because I brought it up, if you had bet on that, it was like minus 310 or something. It didn't pay out anything. Like
Everyone
this,
saw it coming.
This is what they thought it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
betting on
why.
this seems pretty difficult right now.
Well, but that's why I bet on Ferrari to finish top 6, because I knew that Leclerc was going to at least stay top 6 if he didn't podium.
Yeah. Okay.
But honestly, yeah, Leclerc has done well at Bahrain, and I just kind of was riding his position of where he was, and my bets were for him to get podium and for him top 6, but him top 6 alone didn't pay out, so I was like, okay, I think Lewis Hamilton will be able to slip up there into top 6.
Yeah. So really, I mean, the play is if you can kind of get an idea of who's going to pull first, betting them early would be
If
great.
the odds are posted, yeah.
Yeah, but
just finding like a situation where 2 teammates seem to be both in a good position and good at a track. You can just bet on them both to be top 6.
Yeah.
Unless one of them is first, then it may not pay out.
Right. Okay.
But like, all right, so let's. Do you have the rankings up real quick for today's race?
Yep.
So what if you had bet Red Bull top 6? You would have lost, right? You would have gotten 1.
Yeah, you would have gotten one of them, Verstappen, but then Tsunoda was 9th.
So if you had bet Red Bull top 10,
yeah, they both hit.
yeah,
Yep.
some places have some top 10s.
Good for Yuki Tsunoda too. I mean, this is his second race. He debuted in Japan, and this is his second race, and he finished 9th. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah,
He was 12th last week in Japan, and then 9th. So steady improvement. We'll see what happens. Next week in Saudi Arabia, right?
yeah. And
That'd
then
be
after
cool.
that, Miami.
That's right. Yep, I've actually been to that track. When I went to the Miami Dolphins game a couple years ago, it's obviously the track is right there. So when we were out tailgating a little before the game, was kind of walking around, and I happened to look down, and I was like, I'm standing on an F1 track right now. I was like, I'm on turn 3.
So let's see. Speaking of reporters post-race, Leclerc indicated Ferrari is finally on a path to catch the quicker McLaren and Mercedes cars, but reckons it could still take the Italian team time to get there. I feel the tunnel is a bit longer than what I want, Leclerc said. Eventually, I'm sure that we'll find our way, but how long before we do, I don't know. I mean, he's got a good point, because Lando just straight up just had a faster car at a certain point right there when he made that pass.
Yeah, that pass
He
was
used speed.
impressive. Yep.
So
Yep, he did. You could tell his car was a little faster when he
missing
was
out on podium like that, I'd be frustrated too.
Yeah.
It's the difference between having champagne in your hair and not having champagne in your hair. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's. I think that's about. Yeah, I mean, that's a quote out of season 7.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like literally, when they're on the podium, the champagne.
Okay.
like
No, I
the
mean,
winner-
I get it. I just never heard it. So I was like,
Yeah.
huh? Okay.
So,
Yes, I think is that all you got on the race?
it's like the problems of having a Gatorade bath, right?
Yeah, right. Good problem to have.
Yeah, guys, I love the attention, but this was a scrimmage.
So I know
I have a dress rehearsal later.
we're both really just kind of getting into it and really like clearly I think investing into it. Do you have a favorite driver yet, or a driver that you root for, or some driver that you dislike? How's that going for you?
Man, I've got a lot of thoughts. I'm glad you brought it up. So let's go into I don't have a lot of thoughts on Oscar. I like his attitude. He feels like kind of like an off-brand Verstappen in a bit.
Okay.
A bit of that kind of killer mentality. Lando's an interesting guy. He seems like a fan favorite. You know how contrarian I am. He might be a little too public for me.
Okay, I think that's who I like without having watched the show, so I don't know a ton. But,
what a surprise!
I like the vibe that he puts out there. Yeah.
Oh, the guy that won in Miami. What a surprise! His name's Lando. Star Wars. That's the coolest part about his name. I hate Verstappen already, and I don't want to, but really? I do. Yeah, so I don't like him. Mahomes, I don't know what I don't. It's like Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I had Gasly finishing top 6 and I lost that also.
Today was just the final straw for you in Verstappen.
Yeah, Verstappen took Gasly and Leclerc, moved them both up 1.
Yeah.
Different day. Different day. That's all I'm saying. Different day. But Verstappen's like, nope, I won't be left out. Anyways, I don't hate Verstappen. I just don't have really much of there's no appeal.
Yeah, I think I think Yuki Tsunoda is actually one I'm gonna keep tabs on too, just because when we first started doing this, a week or so ago, he was making his debut, got called up to be Verstappen's teammate. Just kind of the storyline there, debuting in Japan, his home country. I think that's a driver that I'm gonna root for and follow.
We've been doing this longer than you think.
A couple weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you should stop trying to put such an exact time frame on it, because people are like, I've been listening to this longer than that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it was exciting. It was an exciting race. It was outside of. It's amazing that it was exciting in the sense that Oscar was never we always knew he would win.
Right. Yeah. If it wasn't for that safety car, it would have been even a more foregone conclusion.
I'm telling you. All right. So what's next? Do you want to do Daredevil, or do you want to stick with sports before we do Daredevil?
I think sports is probably the better angle, because then we can kind of give the spoiler warning, and people that either don't care about Daredevil or just don't want the spoilers can have then consumed at least the entire episode up until that point.
Right, because we've got no spoilers for the NBA. No one gave us the sketch.
Yeah, exactly. The Hornets are losing. That's the spoiler.
No one cares, Sean. Nobody cares, Sean.
In that Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
There we go. Now somebody cares, Sean. Did they already have the lottery, or have they had their lottery yet? No,
I don't think so. No.
I think they do it in the middle of the playoffs. The 4 likeliest West possibilities in the NBA. Assuming Minnesota wins over Utah. If Clippers and Nuggets win, the Nuggets will be the 4, the Clippers will be the 5, the Wolves will be the 6, Warriors 7, Grizzlies 8. If the Warriors and Nuggets win, Nuggets 4, Timberwolves 5, Warriors 6, Clippers 7, Grizzlies 8. If the Clippers win and the Nuggets don't win, the Clippers take the 4. The Nuggets drop down to the 6. The Wolves would still be 5. And then the Warriors and Grizzlies are 7 and 8. Now, if Warriors win and Nuggets don't, the Wolves could take the 4. Clippers 5, Warriors 6, Nuggets 7, Grizzlies 8. Essentially, the Nuggets have to win, and if they do, they can hold on to the 4. But if they don't, things get wild, and the Nuggets might. I mean, did you hear that last one? They'll be doing a play-in game.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That'd be nuts. I mean, they did fire their coach.
That's right. You did a special episode about that.
Yeah, they fired their coach with 3 games left before the playoffs, but whatever.
Where can I find you talking about that?
Here on this feed, this channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But needless to say, as a Nuggets fan, if you want the Nuggets to go far, or you have a futures ticket on the Nuggets, you don't want them playing the Wolves. The Timberwolves are not what you want.
Yeah.
You don't want to see Anthony Edwards. You want him to go up against OKC or somebody and just get taken out. So where can we get the Wolves as the lowest seed possible? 6. Yep. Looks like the best bet I've got. Unless Utah can beat them, which would be amazing. But these are all assuming that Minnesota could take care of business to beat the Jazz.
Okay.
Feels like a safe assumption.
I haven't followed the NBA too closely this season, and certainly not the West as much. So I'm not sure if that's a possibility.
Have you ever heard of the Jazz being good?
No, not really.
There it is. That's all you need to know.
All right. Got him.
NBA West standings. Let's go to the bottom. Oh, wait, this is the East. Jazz, worst team.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
See? Death, taxes, and some teams' mediocrity. I mean, once they traded away Gobert, they disappeared.
Well, the bottom is not mediocre.
That's true. That's subpar at best. The Spurs are down there, and they don't even know if Wemby's going to play again. Do you think that Wemby, like all of a sudden being taken out of the lineup and then Luka getting traded to the Lakers, did that affect the NBA's momentum a bit?
I don't know. The Luka trade definitely got them all the attention.
Well, from the companies that only want to cover LA, New York, and Chicago.
Yeah. No,
I'm being generous, even including Chicago.
I think the NBA is doing pretty good.
Well, I was just saying you weren't keeping up with it, and we went to a game this year.
That's true.
So I'm just talking about the fall off.
It's a fair point.
It's a month by month kind of thing. The playoffs are about to start, and I think it will ramp up. I think the Nuggets have a much better shot, but I mean, as far as any bets or anything, I haven't made any.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how things work out. I'm going to try to play it series by series.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how the seeding in the East is going, but the Hornets are actually not too far behind the Celtics right now. They might be trying to play spoiler.
Spoiler? What are you talking about? The Celtics are locked in.
Oh, their seeding's locked in?
Everything's locked in the East.
Oh, okay. Well,
the Cavs have 64, Celtics have 60, the Knicks have 50. So they've got a 10-game and a 4-game gap on both sides.
Well, then never mind.
The Hornets have no reason not to win this game.
Right.
The Celtics have no reason to try to play. Yeah, The East is – that's why I was talking about the West, because the East is completely locked.
It's just done no matter what happens.
Right, but in the West, you have the 49-32 Nuggets, the 49-32 Clippers, the 48-33 Warriors, 48-33 Wolves, and the 47-34 Grizzlies. So Grizzlies are a little bit more, if they had been able to win a game of the last two, one more game, they'd be a little bit more competitive. But
yeah,
the Lakers are 50-31. The Rockets are 52-29. And so the OKC Thunder are 67-14. So that's by far the only big gap.
Ooh, yeah, that's insane.
That's why everybody wants to give SGA the MVP.
Yeah.
It's stupid, though. Jokic is the MVP. Are you kidding me? He just scores. All SGA does is, score a lot.
Shane Gillis.
What?
Shane Gillis?
Shane Gillis, the comedian?
SGA. Shane Gillis Alexander.
Yeah, but Shane Gillis is the name of a comedian, white guy. And when you said just those part, Shane Gillis.
He plays basketball and comedy?
I guess now he does.
What a multifaceted dude.
He looks completely different in a jersey.
Really? You're not going to believe it.
You're not going to believe it, yeah. He looks like SGA all of a sudden. He just adds an A to his name. It changes everything. Yeah, I won't get into the MVP debate, but I'm a little biased, but I just think that Jokic is he just became the third player to ever average a triple-double on the season.
Right. And how long did it take him to do it when we saw him? A half?
Mid-second quarter, he was at a triple-double.
That's crazy.
He dominates the entire
Barely looked
game.
like he was trying.
Yeah, he just dominates the entire game. But why would that matter?
It's almost like he's the most valuable player.
Let's go to the things I thought we should talk about. We'll call them screenshots of the week.
Oh, I like that. Love the segment name.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. I just came up with it on the fly. That's the best time we'll do our names.
That's good. I like that.
Now I'm trying to figure out which ones are old, though. We already did that. Okay. Are you down for an 18-game NFL season from a fan perspective?
Give me more football.
How it would work. 2 bye weeks for all teams. 20-week season. Only 2 preseason games. Week 1 Labor Day weekend. Super Bowl, President's Day weekend.
That
National
means
holiday after the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so too, because having one bye week now, you get one more game, you get one more week of rest somewhere to strategically put in your schedule. I think that would be a lot better for player health long term.
So the first seed in each conference would then get still the playoff bye, meaning a third bye week in their season, right? Which is, I mean, that's excellent for the players.
Yeah, but only the ones, right?
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's already, obviously there's already all the incentive in the world to get the 1 seed, but it's just, a third bye. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I love everything about what you just said.
Do we think the Browns are going to surprise people and take a quarterback, or is it still a surprise as long as it's not at number 2?
Since they just signed Flacco, I've got that right, don't I?
They've got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson on the roster at quarterback.
Get that out of here with Deshaun Watson. Said it once, I'll say it again. He's not playing another dad in the NFL.
I'm not arguing, but he physically is on the roster, and you have to do something about that.
Right.
You don't have to. You still pay him and not play him, but
Yeah.
So the Browns have used 5 of their 30 visits on quarterbacks: Cam Ward, Shadir Sanders, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shue, Jalen Milroe.
Is that right? They have a limited number of visits?
Yeah.
Huh. Learn something new every day.
So it's important when they actually use a visit on somebody.
It means something. Oh, well, it's important no matter what, whether it means there's actual interest or it actually adds to the smoke screen as well. Could add to the smoke screen.
You're obviously looking at Cam Ward if you were going to try to trade up with the Titans to do a pick swap.
Mm-hmm.
But all these other quarterbacks you could get, one of them, I mean, it's tough. You're hearing right now, and I'm trying to listen to myself. I hear past Ian talking on another episode when we first opened up the draft, and you could see Elliot. Hold on. Elliot was right down here, and he was just rolling his eyes because I was talking about off-season football.
But that's what I love watching.
But I said that this is when you're going to get the true information. You need to look at like this area, and then it's a bunch of smoke screen, and then the week of the draft it becomes real again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So right now the smoke screen is that there's actually going to be more quarterbacks going in the first round than people think, that maybe 3 could go.
Yeah.
Which is the same type of smoke screen we heard the year Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback in the first round in 2022, which is what I keep hearing this class get compared to.
So you think both Shador and Jackson fall to the second?
No, I'm not going that bold. I'm just saying that I think. Do you think Shador would be a lock for a first-round pick if his last name wasn't Sanders?
Nope. I also am not sure he would be if he didn't have Travis Hunter.
I'm not so sure that there's any way Dion's kid could fall past Jerry Jones. Wait, what'd you just say?
No, sorry. Your camera's doing this new thing where it's like zooming in on its own sometimes, and like you just picked up your coffee and like looked at it, presumably to see like how much was left, and the camera just like slowly zoomed in, and it was really funny. Rewatch it. Rewind, YouTube audience. Rewind that like 20 seconds. Watch that. It was funny. Anyway.
I did the.
I also don't. Sorry, go ahead. What's up?
I turned on automatic framing, so I was like, yeah, I do have this new thing turned on. We'll see what it does.
So I also don't think he would be as highly touted if he didn't have Travis Hunter going along with him, and Colorado. I think that did a lot for him.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Travis Hunter was a fantastic player. So, yeah,
but
I think the last name and having Hunter there has definitely fluffed his stock.
There's also
it's not a good quarterback class. That's fluffed his stock a lot.
That's true. But I'm just saying that there is something to be said for the fact that he has handled being Deion Sanders' kid and being this high-profile quarterback with all this money and all these expectations, turning around these schools everywhere he goes. Every team he goes to, it's not a good situation. Then it does get better. It doesn't get, but there's no national championship, is there?
Right.
I mean, at least not for Colorado.
So is that kind of your argument for him slipping?
I think Shador is going to go in the first round. I don't know where. I think the Saints are an option. I think the Cowboys would do it for the chaos because Jerry doesn't know he's doing it anymore.
think he definitely goes before Jackson Dart.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
From what I've heard about,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Apparently Tyler Shue is the more pro-ready of the prospects.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like if you want one that needs to start soon, apparently he's one you would target.
Yeah.
That's the ref information. I'm trying to see if I have anything more about that.
I think my personal rankings are no surprise to anyone. There's Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders in terms of the big three.
I mean, Jalen Milroe has accepted an invitation to attend the draft in Green Bay in person. That's worth noting.
That's big. Yeah.
But doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What else? The Panthers made a very interesting signing.
Tell me more.
The Panthers have signed 6'9", 225-pound Colin Granger, who played 5 years of college basketball.
Whoa.
He's never played football. They'll take a look at him at tight end. Granger played 2 years at Ohio U, 2 at Western Carolina before finishing at Coastal Carolina. That via the Athletics' Joe Person on Twitter.
I don't know what to think of that, man. So someone can just kind of walk up and be like, yo, I'll try to play football. And the Panthers are like, sure.
I mean, did you hear the part where I said he's 6'9"?
Yeah. No, I did. But still.
I love it.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things that if it works out, people are like you were saying, I love it. Awesome story. Really cool. If it doesn't work out, they're gonna kind of take the attitude that I just took of like, well, yeah, what did you think was gonna happen when you just let someone walk in off the street and play tight end? So I'll be curious to see the reaction either way.
Well, here's my thought.
Okay.
Which team is doing this? That makes it a move I like. The Panthers, It's not like the Panthers are some team that, oh, man, they are just churning out talent. But the Panthers are a team that Dave Canales wants to run the rock, control the ball. If he thinks this guy can block like a tight end and he can already do basketball stuff, I'm assuming he'll be, catching some passes.
Be relatively athletic, yeah.
Right. It just feels like this Canales system, if it's going to reach its ultimate form, we're going to have some Jimmy Graham type player out there. You got to go outside the box to find these guys. Julius Thomas was just wasting away on the practice squad for the Broncos for like 3 years. I would complain to people. I'd be like, why is Julius Thomas still on the 53? I'm like, he's never healthy. He doesn't do anything. And then he came out with Peyton Manning and had that year. I mean, what did he catch? 5 touchdowns in the first game?
Yeah. Fantasy season for the ages. That's tight end.
And I drafted him that year in the 13th round, which was kind of high, but I wanted to make sure. I didn't know if y'all knew.
Yeah.
The information wasn't as shared back then. You didn't know who knew what. It was like,
I think you're pretty much absolved of like having to give any disclaimers for your fantasy football picks. Like you win leagues every year. I don't think you have to be like, it might have been a little high. Like you clearly know what you're doing, I'm
afraid to get cocky because then the train will stop.
No, see, that's my reverse psychology play. I'm trying to get you a big head so that then you start getting too full of yourself, making rash decisions. So stop playing defense against that, please.
Saw you coming.
Yeah.
Saw it coming. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. It's worth noting for the Panthers who, they need something. It's not like, oh no, don't challenge that job,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see. It's not like they are a tight end away and this is what they're putting all their chips on.
So our big NFL story is the NFL quietly last week, according to Warren Sharp at Sharp Football, demoted a ref for the first time in 15 years, fired 3 officials, umpire, down judge, line judge, says, will we get more ref accountability and focus on their accuracy? And he put that emoji.
Yeah.
I think this is a good sign because the NFL is now super in bed with sports books.
Yep.
Caesars Superdome in New Orleans would attest. And you need to be on the up and up. So many favorites won last year because they are shifting the rules in a way that the casual fan is not noticing. Like If the ball goes out of bounds, you know where it goes now?
What do you mean if the ball goes out of bounds?
They just changed the rule on kickoff. If the ball goes out of bounds on the kickoff.
So it used to be a penalty that the kick moved back 10 yards, I think. The kicking team had to back up or something like that.
Yeah, like 17 years ago, whenever that was the rule.
Yeah, and then it was like 35 or the 40.
It was never that high. It was the 30.
30? Okay.
Now they've moved it to the 35.
I thought that was just touchbacks, not out of bounds. I thought they moved touchbacks to the 35.
Well, touchbacks and out of bounds. Yeah.
Okay.
Like not caught ball.
I thought you meant illegal kick. Like a kickoff, an illegal kick on the kickoff.
No.
Okay.
No, sorry. I'm talking about they're trying to make people run the ball back.
Right. Yeah. And that's your point. Correct.
So what are high octane offenses going to be doing if they get to start at the 35 all the time?
Yeah, just letting that ball bounce into the end zone.
What the Commanders did, they're going to be going for it on fourth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I heard somebody joke that the number was close to 88% they won on fourth down. Because why not? You've got a decent defense.
If you got a good kicker and you get to start on the 35, like realistically, you get like 3 first downs. Like you're ready to score. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of crazy.
But that's what's happening. It's like dogs don't have. There's not as much variance. You don't have to go the full length of the field anymore.
You get 30 yards and you're on the opposing 45. Yeah, you're asking a lot of your kicker there, but we've seen it. What is that, a 62-yarder? Is it plus 17? If my quick math's correct?
Yeah.
It's not a gimme, but it's doable, and that's 3 first downs from where you start. Like, assuming you're not getting any extra yardage. So that's pretty crazy.
Back in the day, you had to go the length of the field. With these rule changes, eventually you're just going to have to go like 40% of the field.
Well, I mean, that's literally what we're talking about right now, right? Like,
yeah, inflation's taking our football.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might see overs start getting pumped up a little bit. I mean, this will probably impact over-unders by about a point or so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, right? I don't know as much about it as you do, but it seems like something that could.
If it was the main culprit last year, which we don't have the definitive evidence to say it was, but if it was the main culprit last year, it meant more chalk favorites won games. More of the teams that we thought would win did win, and they covered.
Yeah.
It's the best year for chalk since like 2002.
I kind of wish they had done away with the automatic first downs on a couple of the penalties that were being discussed.
They looked into some of those. I think they were trying to get one of the defensive holding penalties. They said it was just 2.
Yeah. That one and pass interference being a spot foul, I would have liked to have seen remedied. But
everybody wants their own rules. I just don't want them to change so many rules that people lose touch with the game because,
this isn't how yeah, you're right.
People could get out of touch quickly if it fell out of popularity.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the sports I had to talk. Did I have anything else to tell you from the world of Twitter? Mike Malone got fired. Guy.
Yeah, and you did a whole episode on it.
All right, here's something from Twitter. I don't know if this is real. Corey Taylor, a.k.a. from Slipknot and Stone Sour, sang Pink Pony Club by Chapel Rome during a performance at Spookala Horror Convention the other weekend.
I believe it.
You believe it?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, why not? Seems like a good mix-up, right? Good mashup, crossover. Go viral at least. You're reading about it.
Yeah. Probably because Slipknot was involved, not Pink Pony.
That's why you're on their fan list, their email list, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, this guy bought one of the masks.
Yeah.
So seems pretty cool. He wears it all the time.
Secret Slipknot fan again.
Is it time to switch to Daredevil?
Let's do it.
This is your spoiler warning. If you have not caught up on Daredevil Born Again, everything except the finale will be talked about. We'll give you guys a little bit of time to leave.
Surely any Marvel spoilers can be discussed in this segment, just in case our conversation steers us toward, like, Spider-Man or something.
Wait, what?
I know. I know.
Spider-Man. We're talking about the Daredevil. Yeah, spoiler warning, spoilers. So, was this the best episode of the series? I don't know. I think the opening episode might have been better for me.
It was really good, this episode. I don't know. I think I still need to see the finale and then probably rewatch the whole season. But I guess in real time, if you were asking me, I'd say I guess so. Just because so much happened, because plots have reached certain boiling points, you know? I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun, even though there wasn't a ton of like actual combat or fighting or anything like that. I thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I mean, when we talked about the reshoots, we said what episode 1, 8, and 9 were the new ones.
Was it that, or was it 1, 2, and 9? No, you're right. 1, 8, and 9.
So that's why I saw Heavy Spoilers tweet out that I've never seen so clearly when somebody got fired on a TV show.
Really?
And I mean, some people are saying this is the best episode of the series so far, and it makes sense that the finale or the premiere came out to so much fanfare, then the penultimate comes out to fanfare. So we're hoping the finale gets some fanfare because we want the show to get a second season, ideally.
I thought it already had.
I think they are already doing season 2. Even if the streaming's not that strong, I don't think they'll cancel it at this point because it's going to be good.
I could be talking out of turn here, but they may have already filmed it.
No, I think they are mid-filming it at least.
Okay.
I saw, when the season started, I was seeing reports of like so-and-so spotted at, filming for season 2, Daredevil Born Again.
You are correct. They are not done, but they are currently filming. It is definitely happening regardless of how this finale is received. So
awesome.
Which is, I guess, interesting, right? That kind of, it means they don't necessarily and won't necessarily give us like the biggest, best episode they've got, which I know we kind of discussed coming into the penultimate anyway. Game of Thrones kind of set that new
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. What do you mean?
Okay. Just because they've already, it's kind of like when an NFL player gets paid, right? It's like, oh, well, we've got season 2. We know season 2 is coming. So, we can kind of make season 1's finale almost more of an advertisement for season 2 rather than a bow on the season that we told with 1, the story that we told with 1.
Yeah, no, but see, I don't think that's how that happened.
Maybe not.
I don't think it happened in that order because remember, this was filmed mostly during the pandemic and then it got delayed for a long time. Then the reshoots happened. Then once it got well received, that might have been when they started doing the filming for season 2. Look up when they started filming it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they made season 1. Then they got to, the executives probably got to look at season 1 as a whole before they greenlit it, at least.
Yeah.
So, but I think what it is it's more indicative of companies see the value of streaming now. They see the value of having a show that once people do get around to it, it goes somewhere and it's eventful because the original Netflix Daredevil show is already that for them.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah, Netflix was going to keep it going because they had the IP and they had the money. So they were like, we're going to keep this thing going. They never had to release their numbers. We don't know who was watching it. They did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they just, if they were like, okay, even if this has a soft streaming, we know this has a cult following and we know the show is good, let's do season 2 at least.
It also tells me, and I mean, this is pretty obvious too, but that he's going to be a greater part of the MCU moving forward. But I mean, they've been putting him into other projects, into the most recent Spider-Man movie. He had a cameo in there. He's met Kamala Khan's father and everything. They're starting to, I think, get us comfortable with the idea that he's going to be around. So, I think
but I don't know if you need him. But I don't know if you need him in the Avengers stuff.
But I think with as popular as he is, I think they'll do it.
Yeah, I just don't know. How does a blind lawyer help? How does he help all the, Miss Marvel? What does she need him for? Thor. What do they need him? It's just a different skill set. I think it's important to keep these street level characters where they belong.
Yeah.
Now,
I'll be curious to see how they played out.
You're right. They pulled him into the Spider-Man movie, but they did it as a lawyer.
Right. Right. He didn't have any superhero action. I mean, he caught that brick and was like, I'm a really good lawyer.
I think the best way it would be to bring him into a movie would be to do it with Spider-Man and maybe make Kingpin the kind of main foil or something.
Yeah, I think having them kind of go against Kingpin together, and they've already kind of got that rapport, so to speak. Peter needs his new father figure. I mean, it's a joke, but not really. Like, he's never really had one. He had Tony. Tony's gone. Like, he doesn't have friends anymore because of what happened.
Nobody remembers
after the
him.
fallout and Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, Strange doesn't even anymore, right?
Nope.
Yeah, dude's got nobody. So yeah, I think that could be a cool way to do it. It would be Peter and Matt, against Fisk.
I think that was the plan. So the rumors were that Spider-Man 4, Kevin Feige wanted Spider-Man 4 to be much more street level and grounded.
Oh, that's definitely a good way to do it.
Well, but then, let me finish. But then the Avengers stuff happened, and now the rumors are Spider-Man 4 is going to be taking place on whatever the battle world is that they're going to come up with.
Yeah.
So, the first Avengers movie is going to shatter reality in some weird way, and it's going to put people in precarious positions. And while we have that, they're going to be like, here's a Spider-Man. Probably like a multiverse explosion, because you can use Tobey Maguire, what's his name? Garfield. Andrew Garfield. You can use all your Spider-Mans.
They need to get Miles into the live action, and I would like to see a live action Spider-Gwen at some point too.
I wonder if that's a way they could kind of split the difference. If Miles Morales, it just feels weird introducing Miles with no connection to Peter,
Yeah, they need to maybe blend those two stories together a little bit in the finale of the Spider-Verse movies.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Ironheart plays.
Yeah, that's soon.
With Sacha Baron Cohen coming in as the devil.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it'll be interesting.
But
anyway, we're straying from Daredevil a little.
We're way far. This is the MCU spoilers you warned about.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the big story points, we got Poindexter getting moved into Gym Pop.
So I was waiting for that the whole show.
Yeah.
I called it as soon as he said thank you. My girlfriend looked at me and she said, oh, did he grab something off the table? And I'm like, no, he's going to use his tooth. He's going to shoot his tooth. That's the whole bullseye thing. It's like he can just
anything. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell, when he played him in the movie, I think he's on the plane and some guy won't stop snoring or something. So shoots a pea and kills him and no one's looking. And they're like, oh, he's just resting.
That's crazy. So yeah, that happened and led to his escape ultimately, which was crazy. We have a little bit of friction between Matt and Heather. Not everything is all good in paradise, or whatever that term is.
All good in paradise. I've heard that one.
Everyone knows it.
Everything's all good in paradise. that old common colloquialism.
You got it.
Yeah, obviously Matt was like, what? You're not gonna my mic. I can't believe you're not gonna my mic.
Yeah, she's kind of talking shit about vigilantes a little bit too.
I heard Screen Crush point out that in his Easter egg video, he was kind of pointing out the fact that she's pushing the blame over onto the vigilantes.
Oh, I think there's part of me that thinks she already kind of knows, and she's pushing Matt to tell her.
That'd be interesting. I don't know if she knows, but she's picking up something from the bruises and whatnot. But it doesn't mean that he's the Daredevil vigilante. She might come to the wrong conclusion that he's just a vigilante who's not very good, or he's trying to be one or something.
Yeah. I think it's becoming more obvious the way he keeps defending Daredevil in these conversations. It's at least twice now that have been important conversations they've had where he's kind of had to defend Daredevil against Heather.
All right. Order in the court. Let's talk about the shot heard around the heartbeats. What was he doing? In your opinion, what was he doing?
When he took the bullet for Fisk?
Yeah, when he took the bullet, I don't think it was for Fisk. I think he was trying to protect Heather.
Okay.
It's just
so what I think,
you have to react pretty quickly in that situation, and Heather's over there, so he just runs over and happens to get in front of the bullet.
I think he is understanding that he might have to play this political game at least a little bit, whether he wants to or not. And this is his kind of way of say, like, he has now taken a bullet for the mayor, the face of this anti-vigilante task force, the face of this whole effort. He literally took a bullet for the guy. So now I think if he wanted to, he could come out as Daredevil, which would kind of, I don't know, just kind of shake up everything Fisk has been doing with the anti-vigilante task force with, okay, you say these guys are bad, but this guy literally saved your life in front of everybody. Like, we can all see he's a hero. Why would we want to get rid of people like this?
Well, Fisk threatened to expose him. So what you're saying is he kind of takes the teeth out of it. It's not like he comes out as Daredevil.
Yeah,
he
wants
like,
to go for it. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So he's trying to.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, he takes it, but it's like, man, taking a bullet is one heck of a way to do that.
Yeah, and he didn't look like he was doing too hot at the end of the episode. I mean, I imagine he knows where to take a bullet. Like, obviously, don't get shot right in the heart, but it was like in that area.
Man, but I just don't know if he's that fast. He's not Quicksilver. He wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna take it right here.
That's
like
true. He's not quick. Yeah.
The bullet was fired, and he had to think. And I think what you're saying is the fall. I think that's going to be the fallout, but I don't think it's premeditated.
You think it was more of a knee jerk? You were saying something about Foggy.
Fisk is dancing with his girl Heather,
yeah,
and he's with the woman that he would rather see shot. So if Daredevil was able to make all these calculations so quickly after seeing the gun, he probably would have just thrown Fisk's woman in front of him.
Yeah.
If he was like brutal about it, if he wanted to really get revenge, and he was really heated when he was talking to her. So he might have made a bad situation. What I think is he saw the gun. He saw them aiming at Fisk. He thought, how many times does somebody miss? I can't let Heather get shot. So he ran over and ends up just taking the bullet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my guess. But also, if it ends up that they're going to spin it to where he did try to jump in front of it for Fisk.
For like a
I was telling
game.
Well, no, I think it's because he failed to save Foggy. He couldn't save Foggy.
Okay,
It's the same guy. The last time we saw him with a gun, he killed Foggy. It's trauma. This show has touched on trauma quite a lot.
Right.
With a lot of the MCU products that have been touching on trauma and issues like that. It would make sense that even if it's Fisk, who he doesn't care for, he didn't kill Bullseye in the jail when he had a chance. He just smashed his face a little bit and let him go and, got himself out of there. He controlled himself there.
This lunatic just started smashing his face against the table.
But also, like, man, if only he had his nunchucks or something.
Yeah.
So we'll see why he took the bullet next episode. But it's an interesting setup for the final episode. What do we want to see? What are we going to see? I mean, I'm on Karen Page watch. Let me go ahead and open it. Where's Karen? We're looking for Karen Page here. I want to see Deborah Ann Wall come back and get back involved in the story. I feel like that's one of the reasons you had to. I mean, maybe she stays gone till season 2. I don't know.
Maybe. It is going to be curious though, because they, they're going to want to give us something, leave us with something big, and like leave us wanting more too at the same time. Like, they're going to want people talking about the finale, and when season 2 rolls around, being like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what's about to happen. So I feel like it's going to be something big.
There's something so simple, right? It's just hanging. It's low hanging fruit right here for them to use for a storyline. Jessica Jones is a detective. She's a private eye.
Okay.
He's having all these issues with Cherry. Cherry won't help him anymore. You're going to need a PI. Chances are, the way things are going at your firm, you're about to be back in Hell's Kitchen before the end of this. This might have been the one season in Manhattan. I could see them resetting by the finale. He goes back to one of his old apartments. It's more brick, dirty. Like, he used to live in an apartment that, like, most people who could see couldn't stand because it, like, had nothing to look at or whatever. But because he's blind, he got one hell of a deal.
And that's something else he and Peter could end up relating on, because Peter's having to live that lifestyle now to tie it back into the Spider-Man.
Exactly. They if they weren't trying to do Doomsday and do their big Avengers event right now,
they've got this.
They've got this perfect thing that I think that Kevin Feige probably originally wanted was the Spider-Man. He's going to have to wait till Spider-Man 5 or 6 to get this grounded movie now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But in the Netflix show, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, They have an entire show called Defenders where they're all together trying to stop the Hand and trying to save New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, Jessica Jones, Matt Murdock, they know each other. You know what I'm
Big
saying?
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen Frank this season, so Frank might come back into play.
Yeah, he might, but he only returned after for those reshoots. So I don't know how he didn't look like he was in war mode. It looked like he was in, please show up in this show to make sure people like it.
Yeah, and like, remember that I'm here in the back pocket, that I could pop up in the future, maybe, but not necessarily in Daredevil. Like, it's just their way of telling the audience, hey, this character is still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Luke Cage, maybe Iron Fist. Like, Iron Fist's the one I'm least excited about, but at the same time, he's the one that like came from a rich family and like now is a hero and like all martial arts centered, so like he could really blend in certain places that could help Matt. Who knows if they're going to pull in how many Defenders, if any, but we do know that Jessica Jones and or several others were spotted for the season 2 filming, so I think that might be where they're going to go eventually.
Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, I would assume so then.
I don't know if it's a verified source, but I did see that, Christian Ritter was spotted in New York or wherever they were filming.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you see these things and it's like, oh, wait, whoa.
Right.
They were just there for another reason. And then you see 3 Spider-Men pointing at each other and you realize, nope, they were there.
Maybe there's more here.
So, yeah, I mean, other than that, we don't expect any big finality except for maybe in the realms I kind of talked about, right? I mean, the law firm thing might come apart.
Yeah.
I think Fisk will probably still be mayor when this season ends. I think they're enjoying that dynamic.
And I think, are we pretty sure that him and Vanessa are definitely aligned and everything now? Yeah. Yes. Thought so. Yeah. When
I tried to tell you, I didn't think that.
I was like, yeah, maybe. But this episode kind of told me. Yeah. When she shot at him, I was like, oh, all right. She's all in. That was crazy.
She knew that if she didn't kill him quickly, it wasn't going to get any better
That's
for
true.
him. And look what's been happening.
You think it was kind of merciful? That's a good point. I didn't even consider that in the moment.
She did the exact same thing to whatever his name is in the jumpsuit.
Yeah.
When he had to go in and buckshot him.
Yep.
She's putting down dogs, man. She's from a different country.
Yeah, but she is kind of being merciful about it.
Yeah, it's the same kind of mercy Russia shows.
Well, I mean, we know, like you were saying, Fisk was literally keeping him in a cell, whooping his ass every day.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, well, I'd love to keep this going as much as I'm enjoying this.
Oh man. So yeah, that's there. I don't know if we'll get any other huge developments between the two of them. It seems like they're pretty good moving forward. Yeah. Daniel being deputy mayor for communications. I think we got confirmation that BB is playing him.
No, we definitely, BB showed her whole hand.
Yeah.
She said, I know who killed my uncle. What do you think I'm here doing? She's playing dumb.
When she was talking with Gallo.
I really hope they do not try. I really hope they are not trying to do some symmetry crap with her uncle getting killed, and now all of a sudden maybe Daniel has to kill her the same way or something like that, and Fisk walks in. Like, I hope she lives till season 2.
I don't think Daniel would, unless it was in a room with Fisk and Fisk said kill her, I don't think he would do that. I think he's kind of into her.
Yeah, but if he finds out that she's all of a sudden trying to bring down his entire thing that he swore all that loyalty to, what was that for? That was setting something up. Hopefully it's not BB. Yeah, hopefully it's someone else.
They've been amping up Daniel's stakes the whole season as kind of the side character.
Daniel's either going to get killed in a way that's meaningful, a la a trick we saw on another show I'd love to talk about if you'll watch it. And but like they're building him up to something at some point. The casting is no mistake either. Like that's a young up and coming actor.
BB and Gallo's conversation was witnessed by one of the task force members too, so that plot could be set in motion.
Wait, which one?
I can't remember.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
But you could tell he was hearing it.
Yeah, it was one of the two main ones that they've kept showing that's had dialogue lines.
Wait, but was it the black guy?
Yes.
Okay, so Screen Crush pointed out, and we should look up his name because we just can't call him the. He's the scary black man.
He's one of the main anti-vigilante task force members. I just can't remember either of their names. But it's like those two that are kind of the lead guys. But yeah, he saw that conversation. So he and, obviously is probably going to tell Fisk that those two were chatting. And then Fisk is going to know that Daniel and BB are close. And so we could be heading towards something like that.
Cole North.
There you go.
So what's interesting is that in the comics, Cole North is also on this task force, but he eventually turns against Kingpin.
Interesting.
So him overhearing that, is this the moment he turns, or are they going to save that for that reveal for later?
Yeah.
They could also try to pull, sometimes they try to just change it enough from the comics to surprise people.
Yeah.
But credit to Screen Crush for pointing that out in their Easter egg video when I watched it. They said that Cole North eventually turns it around in the comics, and so he could be one to turn coat. The guy that was putting hands into the into the actual fryer, putting hands in the fryer, I don't see him changing his ways anytime soon.
He seems pretty set in stone as a bad dude.
Yeah, he seems pretty happy with abusing citizens.
Well, he was even telling Gallo, like, what are you going to do about it, dude? Like, you don't have any power.
I don't answer to you anymore. I don't answer to you anymore.
Yeah.
You're not real. Okay, so I think that's it. I think that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah, those were the main plot points. Yep.
Nice. Well,
yep.
As far as, F1 betting went, interesting soiree. Didn't put a lot into it, watching the race in real time, loved it. Excited to try to do that some more. If we can get some good time zone games for us, just we can't do 1 a.m. in Japan.
Yeah, that's rough.
NBA playoffs are taking shape. We'll have more extensive coverage once the play-in tournament is over.
Yep, that'll be good. Get some good nuggets from you.
We'll get some good nuggets about Denver and other teams. And then we will cover the final Daredevil Born Again episode for season 1. As Sean pointed out, and we pointed out in our coverage, we are going to be hearing a lot more from Daredevil, hopefully a lot sooner this time around.
Yeah, maybe not as big of a gap.
Oh, yeah, I need to read my thing, don't I? Thanks for listening. Just a reminder, sports betting comes with risks. If you're in Virginia, North Carolina, the United States, and need help, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Know your limits, bet within them, and play smart. Follow us on Hammered Shark Productions at everywhere. I mean, just most places we've tried to make our page Hammered Shark Productions. You can find our URL is hammeredsharkproductions.com. Podcast feed is Hammered Shark Productions. I don't know if you're catching it, but it's Hammered Shark Productions.
That's what it is.
On X, formerly known as Twitter, you can find me at Hammered Ian, and he is at Sean Duiser, full name. Anything to say, Sean?
Maybe one
final
day.
Words?
Yeah. I miss Ellie.
Maybe one day we'll see Elliot, but I feel like he just loves gallivanting in the off season.
That's what I love
Yeah.
watching.
Peace out.